Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on social media, known as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from a few really cool TV shows, including Hit the Road and The Flash. We're with Natalie Sharp. Natalie, welcome to Popternative.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No problem. How's quarantine life been for you so far?
Well, it's been a little slower, a little slow down pace of life, but kind of fun in a way, like just trying to come up with random spontaneous things every single day to keep going. We're lucky in Vancouver because we've actually lucked out and had good weather lately. So, we've been getting outside but other than that, just binge watching TV shows.
There's so many. I feel like we're in like the golden age of TV right now.
Well, maybe not the golden. Well,
the last 5 years has been pretty incredible.
Actually, you're right. I'm thinking back to like the Breaking Bad and like the Walking Dead days. Those
but like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but like a lot of those, well, no, I don't. It's not. I don't hate to say it, but I mean, The Flash and the CW shows. I mean,
True.
Come on, like people love those shows.
Yeah.
One episode of Stargirl came out, and people are losing their minds. So I feel like we might be in the golden age of television, and we'll get to talking about The Flash because you're fantastic on The Flash.
Thank you.
But I call, actors, writers, directors, musicians, like all of you guys are storytellers. When did Natalie Sharp decide she wanted to be a storyteller?
Wow. That was very deep of you. Storytellers. Honestly, when I was, I've always had a lot of energy my entire life. And so my mom knew to kind of put me into a lot of extracurricular activities, like performing arts and everything. And I think it was so that by the time I finished my day and like came home for dinner, I would be tired. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be so like jumping in the walls and everything. But I remember sitting down. So I did dance and singing and stuff. And then I remember sitting down with my mom watching Lizzie McGuire. And I was obsessed with Lizzie McGuire. I was like, I look up to her like a sister, like my future self. I like loved her so much that I kind of wanted to hop in the screen and just be her friend on TV or like hang out with her. And so that was the first time where I turned to my mom and I pointed at the screen and I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be on a show like Lizzie McGuire and have other little girls kind of look up to someone on TV and just make someone's day, like make someone smile and stuff. So absolutely.
It's pretty cool. You're from Vancouver, and born and raised, and I'm from Montreal originally, but I live in Ottawa right now. We grew up with a lot of like the Canadian TV shows. Mm-hmm. And what I find interesting is there was that stigma attached to like Canadian TV and film that like it wasn't as good as like stuff from the USA, right? Like,
right.
But I feel like that stigma is gone right now because a lot of shows get international distribution, and a lot of Canadian shows are killing it right now. Schitt's Creek, Letterkenny, Kim's Convenience, Working Moms. Isn't it pretty cool to see though? Like as a Canadian, to see like that finally, like we're getting the recognition finally that we deserve.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like I'm in the perfect time to like want to do this whole acting thing or kind of be on the up because yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, there was really nothing, there was such a stigma where, a lot of people felt like they had to move down to LA or move to the States in order to pursue something like this. But we have so many great opportunities in Canada now that I mean, you can kind of just do it from your own city.
Well, I mean, Vancouver, a lot of things like have been shooting there for a long time. But I was telling one of my friends was telling me that like Toronto was always a hot spot, but it's becoming even more of a hot spot. Like Toronto's starting to become like Vancouver a little bit. Like a lot more is going there.
Yeah, both Vancouver and Toronto are doing so well. I'm just like I think it might be good strategy to just stay here. But I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that we have this hub of a film and TV.
Where is the Flash shot?
Vancouver.
That's Vancouver. So you're like working at home basically.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's great. You know, I get to shoot the Flash and then go home to my parents' house. I don't live with my parents anymore, but I could go home to my parents' house, hop in the pool, get my mom to do my laundry, have dinner. You know, it's just like all very easy. Are you not much of an adjustment?
Are you because there's so many amazing people that we see on the Flash, like so many amazing characters, and I love that. That's one of the things I love about the show. You're kind of introduced to a lot of really cool people on that show. You know what I mean? Like there's some people you meet like 4 or 5 episodes here, there. You know what I mean? For the cast and crew that you kind of work with, like with your scenes and stuff, with your character, are you relied on because you're like the local for like recommendations on like where to go or like anything? Does that ever happen?
Oh no. Well, I mean,
I wasn't expecting that at all.
No, I mean, I would like to think that people would ask me, you know, because I feel like I seem like a fun-loving, outgoing type of person, which I am. Sorry, this thing is in your face. But everyone, all the regulars and the leads have been on that show for like years. And so they've spent a fair amount of time in Vancouver. So they kind of like have their own spots now. I know that when I was working with Natalie Sharp, we were both like, yo, like, let's go and hang out after this and go to like fun restaurants and just, you know, really get to know each other and stuff. And so she's kind of like the one who doesn't know Vancouver super well. So I'm excited to like kind of take her around town and show her what's up. But
that's
other than
cool.
that,
no,
yeah.
That's awesome. We talked about a little bit of like the preamble. I mean, you're on Hit the Road, which is a show that had 1 season that stars Jason Alexander, and a lot of people know Jason Alexander as George Costanza from Seinfeld. I mean, you got to work with like an iconic legend. Like, what was that like?
I mean, it was very surreal, but also embarrassing at first because I never watched Seinfeld, so I didn't really know like who Jason Alexander was. I remember the audition for it said Untitled Jason Alexander Project, and I was like, okay, well, who's Jason Alexander? And here I am kind of typing in Google being like, who is this guy? Why does he have a show? And
I'm sorry.
No worries. And
sorry.
Yeah.
You made me snort. That never happens. Okay, it's the first time the podcast host has like snorted on his own show.
I snort all the time. Yeah. When I laugh.
Yeah.
No, but and I saw that he obviously is on Seinfeld, so I watched a couple episodes of that, and then what I knew him from was Cinderella when he played like the I don't remember what his title of role was, but he was the guy who ran around in the town. It was like, the prince is giving a ball, the prince is giving a ball, like just so incredible. What a great role. And yeah, I mean, when we started filming, he's so funny in person, but he's also so incredibly smart and particular. And it was so great to kind of be taken under his wing and be able to collaborate with him. And I mean, he's kind of like a second father to me now. We spent, how long? 40 days filming 10 episodes. And so it was 4 days an episode. And it was like, it turned into the best summer ever. It was so chaotic. We were all crammed into this RV basically, or this like tour bus, and so we all got really, really close. And yes, it holds a very special place in my heart.
No, absolutely. It's cool because now it's being played on Much Music, right? Like the reruns of it are playing on Much Music,
which no one knew about. Which was hilarious. Because when we got the call that there wasn't gonna be a season 2 and it was just kind of gonna be over, we were all very kind of, oh man, just upset because we are in love with the family that we created and want to be able to keep being that with each other and doing that because it's so much fun. Yeah, and then suddenly, like, I think it was a month ago, my brother Nick on the show tagged me in an Instagram and was like, hey, we're airing, I think. And then I saw that it was Much Music, which I used to watch as a kid all the time. And then I was the one who texted Jason and said, and let him know that we're back on TV. And he was like, you gotta love the Canadians. So that was funny that no one knew. We all kind of thought it was gone and it was just this nice little happy memory that we all had. And then now it's definitely being shown on TV again. So that's
it is crazy. Getting back to The Flash a little bit, for the people that, don't watch The Flash or kind of want to get into it, talk a little bit about like your character, talk about a little bit like your experiences on that show, because it's such an amazing show. It's been around for a while. It has such a great fan base. The fans for The Flash are unbelievable. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple funny stories. Like, I love comic book shows. I love villains and heroes. I've always been into, the Marvel, the DC, all of that stuff. And it's actually what I've wanted to do as an actor, definitely moving forward. And so I just feel so honored that I get to play like a villain on The Flash. And obviously the show's been running for 6 seasons. So at first I auditioned and I felt like I completely blew my audition, to the point where I was like crying in my car, calling my friend being like, can we, I think I blew it. Like, no one's going to want to see me as an actor ever again. I'm done. Like, there's no way. It's so embarrassing. And I was like, will you please tape it with me? And let's resend this audition so that this casting director, there's a little bit of hope for me left. And so I thought it went incredibly horrible. Next thing you know, I book it and I'm very confused. I'm like, why? It went horribly. And so that was just kind of a fun little story I have about the whole audition process. But then also going into shooting, I didn't know that my character was named Sunshine at the time. She was only Millie. And so Sunshine wasn't even in her character description. They were pretty vague on what they gave us to audition with. All they said was like she has light powers that she harnesses from the sun. So at first I thought it was fire, like that she would be shooting fire. And they said that she's ex-military and that she's a thief. So
all these things, and you're like, okay.
I'm like, cool. I'm like piecing together. But the cool thing about Sunshine was she always had this very witty personality and very kind of egotistical. Like, she knows how great she is. And
for sure.
Yeah, which I love. I love that she's so confident and, kind of cocky. And I'm
absolutely.
Like, I support that. It's so much fun to play.
Talk a little bit about the fan base. Have you kind of seen, since your character had kind of like pivotal kind of moments on the show and like a lot of like episodes that your character was involved with, did you kind of see a little bit of like a spike in like the reception on social media, because those fans are pretty committed?
Honestly, the biggest spike I think was this past episode, the season finale, when we all of us, like the 3 light metas, all walk in like the Charlie's Angels. There was a lot of people who were like, oh my God, they're back. This is crazy. So that was really cool. And getting to see all of us kind of fight in our different ways and how we finesse everything. And it was kind of like the introduction of the trio of us, right? Which I just think was very exciting for the fans. But honestly, the biggest one was the first, like my introduction. People felt really strongly and really loved like how I dropped from the ceiling and then stood up and was like, my name is Sunshine, or I'm sorry, call me Sunshine, you know? So fans were sending me like DMs constantly and Twitter messages, just repeating that line and like coming up with GIFs and creating all this artwork. And so, yeah, that was really cool.
Oh, absolutely. You know Andrew Herr, right?
I do.
Yeah, I was just on Instagram Live with him 2 days ago, actually.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he's from Vancouver originally, or lived in Vancouver at one point. Do you kind of see the like The Flash is obviously an American show and doing really well, but I find it interesting because you said like Hit the Road is playing on Much Music, right? But Hit the Road is not a Canadian show, right? It's an American show, correct?
Right.
So I find that like vice versa. Like, do you find it interesting that you have a show that, in the States that's doing well in Canada, and he has a show, Letterkenny, which is Canadian, doing well in the States? I find that kind of funny.
I know. I do think it's funny how I know. I don't know what the math is or the science is behind it. As long as it's being watched and enjoyed, I feel like that's just a nice little thumbs up for everyone.
No, it is really, really cool. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for coming on Popternative and chat a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
So on Twitter, I'm so bad at Twitter, but on Twitter, I am at Natalie Sharp 007.
Sorry.
I know how it sounds.
I'm sorry. No,
James Bond. Okay?
You're making me laugh too many times on this show. You're not even trying to be funny, and I'm like having a hard time. But continue. No, you're great.
What's next? Instagram. I am at @nsharpie. So.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. All right,
okay,
cool.
But Natalie Sharp, my nickname was Sharpie growing up. So N Sharpie. And that's it. I do have like a Facebook just fan page, Natalie Sharp. But the only two that I really use are Twitter and Instagram. Amazing.
Well, that's awesome. We'll make sure everyone follows you, and congrats with the success of all your projects, and I hope you're doing well during these crazy times.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope you do well also. I mean, I hope life gets up and running soon.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. And until next time, this is Natalie Sharp and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.